Hey guys, I just wanted to do my reaction video to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, Episode 1. This is part 1 of the long-awaited and long-overdue season premiere, which was sadly put off until, this past Friday because Marvel insisted sharing that piece of garbage, Marvel's The Inhumans, and just a brief. I never got to do an official review on it, but just like my brief thoughts on it is I watched the 2-hour pilot for that movie, for that show. It was one of the worst pilots I've ever seen. It had like Batman and Robin levels of stupidity. It was campy and yet self-serious about it, and stuff like Medusa having hair that attacks people, to her hair being shaved played for drama, and the actor who played Black Ball looking like he was confused or was pooping because he didn't understand, he couldn't speak because his powers would blast stuff, and at least in the pilot, and them enforcing a caste system where Inhumans who never got powers would basically go into slave labor, and the villain trying to liberate it. So it's like the villain was sympathetic and the heroes were unsympathetic. And I mean, I watched maybe a couple episodes after that just to watch the Thor Ragnarok preview, and it worked out most of the kinks, whereas the characters became somewhat more likable, but it just became kind of boring, and it was just hard to get invested. But anyway, if you really want to check out that show, it was 8 episodes, but in any case, it pales in comparison to even the worst season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it makes even the first season looks like a season of Game of Thrones. I wouldn't waste your time on it. But anyway, a quick recap of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., since we haven't seen any episodes since May. Coulson made a deal with the Ghost Rider to basically get briefly possessed by him in order to kill Ada when she became an Inhuman with real powers through this whole process of the framework. Kind of essentially being combination of the framework and the Darkhold. She was deemed the third by the Ghost Rider, so Coulson had to make a deal to eventually kill her. But then they were because of the Daisy LMD, they all became fugitives, and they were eating at a diner. But then they were abducted. But then they were almost frozen in place and abducted. And there was a post-credit scene, or a mid-credit scene where Coulson was looking on a space station, looking out into an asteroid field, and it just said it's time to get to work. And we didn't know the extent of it, but now we're finally get to see that on for the premiere and just figure out what happened, where they've been, and what kind of situation they've gotten themselves into now.
Your history. I always believed. I had moments, but they try and take that last bit away from me, but I always believed the stories were true.
What stories?
Well, this one, that you would come.
To save you, Virgil? From those aliens that were attacking?
The roaches are an anomaly, a glitch in the plan. Don't be crazy, you're not here to save me.
Who then?
Humanity. I'm sorry, this is a lot to dump on your plate, but how do you eat an elephant, right? This will make a lot more sense once I show you.
God, let that guy finish a sentence.
Right?
Yes, that was right. And not the only one.
go. You know, I didn't want to hurt you, but the idea is starting to grow on me. I deserve better than this.
Tell that to the corpses.
Maybe there's some magic at play.
Magic is just science we don't understand yet.
Oh, please. We just got zapped through space by Stonehenge, and we're trying to rule out the involvement of a flame-headed demon from East LA? Science my ass. Now, let me see that gun. Maybe I can try to get it working.
Safe from this, better off than we are.
Yeah. You okay?
Fine. What do you think? He isn't better off? He has to be.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, that he did something drastic. He wouldn't do that. He was right there with us.
I'm not saying any of that. It's just you guys are constantly torn apart.
Cursed, as he would say. Well, I'm not afraid that he isn't here. I'm thrilled. He's no doubt working this problem, probably trying to get a message to us right now.
We should split up.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. We are sticking together 100%. Haven't you ever seen an alien movie?
Mac, it's the best way to cover the most ground.
Okay, you see, that's exactly what they say before they get picked off one by one. And you know who the first one will be.
It's your call, boss.
This has to be the coolest we've ever looked.
I don't know where you flushed out of, but in this sector, you can't go 10 feet without a metric. Hey, don't move. 1 inch the wrong way and you're a vacancy. Yeah. You want to scout a bed? Likely, for now.
Unless they all came through a monolith.
Then we're close enough to Earth for people to travel here.
And we can get home.
Yes, but just as important. Collecting ice means they have a spacecraft, and if they have a spacecraft, they must have a laser-based rapid transmission system. If we can find the ship and fly above the debris field...
We can send a message.
We can send a message to Fitz back on Earth.
Okay, so if I can find a layout, find a ship, find May, it's a start. This interface looks similar to... Listen, do you recognize this language?
No. I don't think humans are running this place after all.
Ano si Dai sa kamakataksonika? No si Dai Kasim Sarab Kasayas.
Tizakaria Manikononda Kanin Balu. We'll spare you to provide us greater satisfaction than killing you would bring. She will pay that price for you. Stop!
What do you mean submission? Are the Kree planning some sort of attack?
Attack on whom, exactly?
Humans.
Why would they do that?
Please, I'll do anything to stop.
Quiet, or we'll change our minds about you.
He's processing, they know the history. Not from processing, are you?
No. I was enjoying a meal and then I was taken and zapped to this place. I'm from Earth.
Yeah, well, that would be the one thing that I do know, Wingnut. But from where? What area?
Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
Are you high on something? Can I have some?
had to send one. I mean, the good news is I recognize some of these constellations, so we're at least in our own galaxy.
That doesn't make sense. How long ago did they build this place, and when did you first come here?
I don't know. They built it 90 some odd years ago minimum. But what do you mean come here? I was born here.
¿Qué pasa, Mac?
These filtration systems, they weren't designed for this. They've been repurposed.
Yeah. I feel like this machine's out of its element, too. I found the coordinates of this place, but it's listing our location in longitude and latitude.
The postcard here.
Years ago, that's impossible. The tech in here couldn't have been developed in the 20s.
Wait. No metrics, no scars. Wisconsin. Pie. Tell me again about when you were taken.
We were sitting in our favorite diner just off Columbus Drive.
Not where. When? What year?
The monolith was different, wasn't it? We didn't travel through space.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I know, May. I recognize all of these constellations.
I meant that.
Oh my God.
No reason to send a message back to Earth.
Saying this season started off with a bang just is probably an understatement. Saying that they went out into space is like one thing, but the fact that they were trapped at the monolith that they interacted with, like, I don't know, at first it was like they were just like in some part of the space station, just like scattered them throughout the different parts of it, but now it's just like they've actually, I mean, where else do you go? I mean, it's the one thing that, like Max says, the one thing they haven't done, travel through time and space, and one to like a post-apocalyptic future. I wouldn't say post-apocalyptic world. I can't say post-apocalyptic world, obviously, so there's not much left of it. I mean, so this goes to my theory. I don't know if anybody saw my reaction video to Avengers Infinity War. I mentioned how there was like a D23 trailer that was seen by the press, and how when Thanos invaded, he was able to use the Infinity Gauntlet to just destroy Earth's moon and like send like the debris from it crashing towards Earth. So my thoughts are this takes place in a darker alternate timeline in which the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy failed to stop Thanos' invasion. He was able to collect all the Infinity Gems. He used the Infinity Gauntlet to its full power, and Earth didn't survive this onslaught, and that's what's remained of it, and and supposedly that the Kree came in and enslaved the survivors of Earth, and so apparently this is 90 plus years ago, so it's like they're in like it's like even in the 22nd century. I think they're close to the late 21st, early 22nd century at this point. Like, that's just mind-blowing. Like the fact that, and so if it kind of like raises the stakes and makes them feel like all more like the most isolated this team has ever been for obvious reasons. They're like now that they're among like the last survivors on Earth. There was this message from Fitz saying, working on it, so it's not clear. I mean, it clear was like some kind of message in a bottle, but now you don't know exactly what happened to him, but how he died, or if maybe he was among one of the last survivors who was abducted by the Kree and was killed. And like I said, that was a message in a bottle. That's my working theory on that. I mean, I just did not. I mean, one thing, like I said, like I didn't expect them to be propelled into a future where it's just like they're just in a space colony now in Earth's orbit or what's left of Earth, and now they got to fight for survival and just somehow try to get back to the past and prevent any of this from happening. So I mean, yeah, I like how they played up the comedy. There were like some nice little callbacks to the end of last season, like the framework, the deal with the Ghost Rider when they were trying to speculate what's happening. The Easter egg by Yo-Yo when she says, "Oh, they don't have a space division called something called Spear." I thought you guys would be living on the moon, which is like it's supposed to be like an Easter, like a nod to Marvel's The Inhumans, since the royal family and those group of humans lived on the moon at some point. And there's also the fact that there is like a space division of Shield, or at least like a division of or at least like a government division that deals with extraterrestrial activities, called Sword, which originated from the Astonishing X-Men comics. And they're the ones that dealt with and it's like Shield seems to deal with like almost like pretty much cover all of it, like alien related or other, alien related or supernatural, extraterrestrial, otherwise, like apparently. Whether we ever see a version of Sword on this show, that remains to be seen. But I mean, it's just so far, it's just everybody just trying to like figure out, like understand the gravity of the situation, and like take it in. And it's like first they thought, they were just like lost in space, and so they just had to like get on the ship, and second signal to fizzing it back home and fight off some Kree, which is nothing they haven't done before. But now it's like, they're like, they just have to like get back to the past somehow, because the monolith. Because I mean, the monolith they went through propel. I mean, I guess they'll have to do. I guess it'll rely on Fitz having to do something similar to. I guess when he was able. I guess from like what is it? I think it was like season 3 when they were able to liquefy the monolith and then keep it open as like a portal as a means to like grabbing Gemma and bring her back from. I think the problem was Mavis to Earth, so he'll just have to do something similar to get everybody back to the past. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be something where it was going to be like a season long. If it's really just going to be like this season long thing where it's just like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be in this like post-apocalyptic future, or are they going to do something in which where it like breaks it up into 3 acts, like in season 4, where it's just like first like a third of it was about Ghost Rider, a third of it was about the LMDs, and like the last third of that season was about the framework. I don't know if they might do something similar, or they just might be like the being in the future might be half of the season. I mean, it's all speculation at this point. But yeah, I mean, it just feels like it's hard. I'll be surprised if they don't find a way to like tie this into Infinity War. I know like trying to tie this show into the movies kind of hurt it a lot in this first season. And I think the show was all the better for it, trying to stand on its own 2 feet and just worry about its own like misadventures and put less focus on the movies, kind of how like the Netflix Marvel shows have been doing. The but given this has become like a space opera now, I'll be surprised if it wasn't tied in somehow, that they have to figure out, what happened, and the specifics of why the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy failed to defend Earth, and try to get back and pass on whatever information there are to them to try to prevent this from happening, or pass it on to the right people. Because it's not like they had a plot line where, they had a plot line before in like season 2 where they had to get information about Hydra and Loki's scepter, and that was passed on to the Avengers for Age of Ultron, and that led in. Well, they still kind of did their own thing, but we'll see. I'm about to watch the second part of it, and maybe we'll get some more information. But what do you guys think about the new premise for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Do you like the fact that it's become a space opera, it's in outer space, the time travel stuff? Your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.